the fact is, we can all make a compelling decision, and we're no different to a Tony Robbins, a Les Brown. We're no different to those people. They just made a compelling decision to hold their worth so high to what it truly is and honor their message and honor their truth. And that's why they're creating a dent in the universe, because they've made a compelling decision and they've held their worth so high that they're not ever going to go back.
Welcome to the Optimum Human Podcast, the show that interviews the world's top experts in fitness, nutrition, mindset, and beyond. Let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Optimum Human Podcast. My name is Brian McKay, he's Claude Petroulis, and
Hi.
We are the hosts. Hi.
Hi, of the Optimum Human Podcast.
Are you this
See,
morning?
I did half the intro.
Are you this morning?
Yeah, no. Okay, back to you, Brian.
Yeah. So anyway, we're the hosts of the Optimum Human Podcast, and today we've got another awesome guest, our good friend Josh Cheetham. Josh, sir, how the hell are you this morning? Or this afternoon, I guess, in your case.
I'm amazing, and I'm really pumped to be on your podcast and share an amazing message with some amazing people.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Claude, sir, how are you today?
I'm pretty great, man. I just cooked my abdominals this morning, and I can barely stand, so this should be fun.
Is that anything like pork belly?
I've been called a pig before, but not like that.
Fair enough. So Josh, for our listeners who don't know, can you kind of give us a rundown of what it is that you do and how you got to this point?
So yeah, as I first want to say, I just want to say thank you guys for sort of inviting me on. My name's Josh. I'm from Manchester in the UK, and I'm an empowerment coach, and my organisation is called Be You. And basically, my message is to sort of empower people, entrepreneurs specifically, to just be everything that they are capable of being. I think it's really, really important that we, as entrepreneurs or people on an optimum human journey, stop looking for the answers outside of themselves and really, really look internal and win the internal game to achieve everything that they can possibly achieve. So I want to help people literally seek their own truths and ultimately be themselves, but not just be themselves in the business, be themselves in every area of life, because I feel like it's so important that a lot of people get the business side of things sort of to a T and sort of do that really, really well, but then tend to forget the other areas of the life. So where I am now is, for a long time in my business background and my business experience, I was experiencing a lot of stress and a lot of struggle and a lot of sacrifice. My background in the UK is in funded training. So a lot of delivery to people, a lot of recruitment of other people, a lot of sort of hands-on experience with other people from a range of different backgrounds. And to be honest with you, it's probably something that you guys can relate to. I used to be making a lot of money and having an amazing life, but I don't personally think that I was living to my full potential. And I always knew there was more than what I had in that moment. So that's when I sort of decided that I wanted to help other entrepreneurs on that journey. And that's when I set up BU, because I feel it's so important that we basically cut the bullshit, to be honest with you. We cut the bullshit and all these bullshit stories that we're telling ourselves and the shit that we're getting from our environment, and we literally show up as ourselves in every area of our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Now, it's a pretty abstract idea. I mean, could you kind of give us a little bit more of a concrete idea of what you mean when you really say be you? Like, what does that mean for you?
I think that's an amazing question, and I think this is why I'm honoured to sort of be on your podcast, because I feel like BU really, really ties itself with people living optimally in every area of life. I think ultimately showing up as you is, first of all, defining who you are on a daily basis. So being able to, all right, bullshit is going to show up for each human on a daily basis, no matter who you are. Negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, whatever you want to call them, unconscious breaks, they're always going to show up. And I think you being you get to define whether the bullshit is you or the bullshit isn't you. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, for you showing up as you on a daily basis, I think it's so important that you allow yourself to live intentionally on a daily basis. So that's not setting goals, that's setting intentions in every area of your life for you to be able to show up and be everything that you already are.
Right on. Now, Josh, how did you get into this line of work? Like what compelled you to start really down this path that you're on right now? Like what started the fire, man? Because you're really fired up. I can hear it in your voice. I can feel the passion, man.
I think I'm so glad you asked that question, Claude, because I don't feel like one of my beliefs is that experience and the passion and the lessons that you gain from that experience will always serve you for the rest of your life. And not just serve you, but serve other people. And from the experience that I've had in training world and the coaching world and the beauty of it is the diversity of people that I've worked with, that has allowed me to sort of create this message, if you like. And why I'm so fired up is because what I've seen over the past 6 or 7 years on this entrepreneurial journey is I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of amazing things, but I've also seen a lot of people, including myself, not always living their truth and living everything that they truly believe in their heart. Not reaching full potential and tapping to the heart on a daily basis. And I'll be dead honest with you guys, the people that I've worked with sort of as I started on this journey probably 6 or 7 years ago were people that had nothing, people that were sort of on the bottom of the pile in the UK, unemployed people. And these people still had this fire within the belly. They still had this fire that I see in others that I work with today and that I support with today. And I believe there's so many people with such fire within them that just is waiting to be facilitated and ignited to be everything that they're capable of being. And that all comes down to you being who you truly are. Because I believe that when we arrive on this planet or we arrive into this universe or this world or whatever you guys believe, I believe that we are a miracle. I believe that we're all here to be everything that we can ever think of. I believe that we're here to, whatever first thought comes from your heart on a daily basis, those visions and those dreams that sometimes might seem a little bit stupid or a little bit silly, I believe that is us and that's what we're actually here to do.
Okay.
Right on.
Now, when you, how do I phrase this? When you're talking about who someone is, what is your belief as far as, I don't know, I don't want to even say, what percentage, but how much is a person just a person and who they are at the core, and how much are they able to create themselves? Does that make sense?
It's a very, 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 very interesting question. I think we hear this term personal growth a lot, don't we? We hear this term about, so your environment creates who you are, the lessons that you learn from a book create who you are, this phrase of teach to teach. And I think personal growth and personal development is an amazing concept. But what I'd also invite people to think about is how about we've always been this amazing, amazing miracle. We've always been this thing, this, I don't want to say object, this thing that walks this planet that has always had unlimited potential. And to be honest with you, so one thing that I found myself doing, and I would like to see if this relates to other people, is I found myself being this personal development geek and reading all the books and going to all the seminars and making all this investment.
Yeah,
when in actual fact, the minute I stopped and allowed myself to listen to who I truly was, put the books down, I actually conducted a learning fast, which was a bit of a game changer for me. I conducted a learning fast and I started to ask myself some really, really interesting questions, asking who I actually was, what is the truth, what is amazing about me, what I'm proud of, what is my message, and why am I here? Why am I on this planet? And the minute you stop, and this is for any entrepreneur, anyone that's trying to live optimally, any single person that stops and allows themselves to be present with who they truly are and ask themselves the right questions, they might just surprise themselves. They might just be able to really, really give themselves that honor and gift themselves that self-love back to themselves. I like to call it the phrase of giving the power back to them. And I think it's really interesting, your question, because we are living in a society and we are living in a culture where the answers are outside of us, or we believe the answers are outside of us. It's a case of when I have this, or when I do this, or when I have this amount of money, or when I read that book, or when I do take that seminar, then I'll get this. But what about if we all come from a mindset of be, do, have, and allow yourself to be in everything you're capable of being right now, to then allow you to go and fulfill your purpose or fulfill what the strong pull is within you. And I think that's really important, because what you just said there is something that is probably a common trend in most people. And because we do believe that, we do believe that we are a product of our environment, and we are a product of the external. Everything that has happened to every single person on this journey and on this planet right now has happened for a reason. But what I'd invite people to think about is how much are you giving the power back to you on a daily basis? How much are you honoring who you truly are?
Now, Josh, earlier you were saying about living your truth, right? So how can people start living their truth? What do they have to do?
Very, very. I love that you just asked that. If I'm honest with you, that's something that I can really, really relate to as an individual. For a long time, I was doing a good job and I was making enough money and I was still serving people on a daily basis, but I don't feel that I was fully honouring myself at that time, and I wasn't allowing myself to be honest with you, just give that love back to myself and honour who I truly was. So in terms of people living their truth, I think what they first of all get to do is they get to define what their truth is. And something that I see in a lot of people, and this is something that I've actually spoke about to someone recently, is the only way I can describe it is when you can observe someone speaking one thing, but you know they feel another. And what happens then is in the human body, that creates disconnect. And I feel like if that disconnect is continuing on a daily basis for a long time in people's lives, that's then going to cause stress in the body. And then obviously, I say to people, to be honest with you, if you carry on like this, you're going to die early. And I don't want to sound ruthless, but I feel like that if you're feeling something in your heart, whether that be perceived to be good, bad, anger, sadness, whatever that might be, I want people to be able to claim that feeling. I want people to be able to ask themselves, how am I feeling right now? Why do I feel like this? And really, really claim that feeling, whether that be anger. I want people to be able to celebrate the wins just as much they celebrate the lessons. And I want people to be able to feel that on a daily basis and tap into what they're truly feeling, instead of bullshitting themselves and bullshitting the people around them. Because all that does is just cause disconnects in the body. And to be honest with you, over a certain amount of time, all that's going to cause for people is them to just become a robot of society. And the fact is, we all know this right on this call right now, people aren't robots of society. I'll give you a really good analogy for this. If you go outside tomorrow, or you've got a young child in your family, observe a young child under 6. Observe the miracle that they are, and observe the way they just have no inhibitions and they just fully express themselves on a daily basis. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about expression. We're talking about full expression of every single thing you feel, think, and everything that you constantly experience on a daily basis. And that's what part of BU is. It's allowing people to fully express themselves in every way possible.
So it's essentially giving people permission to give them permission to themselves to be who they are.
Correct. It's allowing people to be their own permission slip, and it's allowing people to stop waiting for the validation of someone else to tell them that it's okay to speak the truth. It's okay to follow your heart. It's okay to do what you're passionate about. It's giving people to be their own permission and be their own safety net, and being able to make that jump and let go of those fears is as easy as you choose for it to be. Me personally, and I'm just talking from experience, for me to create the space that I've created now, because I'll be honest with you, and I probably you guys can relate to this, I want to change the world. I want to allow people to show up and just be that powerful being that they are on a daily basis. And for me to create the space that I've created right now to have the honor to talk to you guys today and share my amazing message and share this message to help people, to create this space, I've had to let go of fears. I've had to let go of the bullshit stories that I'm telling myself. I've had to let go of attachment to other things to make me feel safe. I've had to allow myself to be my own source of validation and safety and justification around my business and my work and basically just everything around me. And when you get to that point where you are your own safety net, you just allow yourself to just come from a really, really peaceful place on a daily basis. And that's what I would love to help people find in themselves.
So speaking of that, Josh, how do you enable others to kind of do the same thing? What's one of the top methods or strategies that you use to help others out?
I would first of all really, really encourage people to really define a vision. And I'm going to talk a little bit about business here because I wrote a status about this, and I think I put a message about it last week. And I feel what I tend to observe is there's a lot of people with amazing businesses, as you guys probably know. There's amazing people with amazing businesses. But what I ask people is your business truly aligned with your heart's long-term vision? Because what I say, people's business and life might be a certain way now, but what do people want it to look like in 10 years' time? And that's what I'd invite people to think about is, what do you want it to look like? What does your perfect day look like? And are you aligning yourself to that right now? Because if you're not, your perfect day will never take place, because it's about alignment. It's about alignment to being everything that you always were right now. And what I like to say to people is, what the fuck are you waiting for? So that's the first thing. Define your vision. Define the long-term vision, not just for your business, but define your true vision for every area of your life.
That's true. That's like that saying. Sorry. If you
damn it, Clint, stop cutting
your plan, you plan to fail. Damn it, Brian, stop cutting me off. But yeah, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And if you don't have that vision, Josh, that you're talking about, it's just what do you expect to happen? You know, it's kind of just like pulling on the slot machine lever and hoping for the best.
I personally think people do have the vision, but then what I do think happen is at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we love instant gratification. So we always subconsciously think short term. How many people do you know right now that are listening to this podcast that have truly asked themselves on a daily basis, what does my heart want my life to look like in 10 years' time? What is my perfect day, and am I aligning to it right now? Yes, you have an amazing business, and yes, you may be making money that's sort of feeding your life right now and sort of allowing your life to take place right now, but is it aligned to what you truly want? And that's what I think that's so important, because we can all make money. We can all get instant gratification. We can all drive a nice car. We can all live in the external to feel good and feel significant. But then what do people really, really, truly want it to look like? Because I feel like we can extract that vision from people, and I feel like we can allow people to align their schedule to their perfect day right now, and align everything in their life to be everything that it's capable of being. So first of all, defining a vision. And the second thing is, I'd just invite people to, how many times have they allowed themselves to just be present on a daily basis? So in my schedule, and the people I support and the entrepreneurs that I support, I encourage people to schedule time for presence with self, because I feel like it's something that we're missing. We're missing because we're living in the external. We're getting wrapped up in these 18-hour days and this hustle, grind, create, conquer mentality, when in actual fact, it can be as easy as you choose for it to be. And I feel like that scheduling time for that presence with who you truly are and putting all the books down and just listening to yourself and listening to what's around you and just creating time for that presence can be an absolute huge shift for most people. And like I said before, and that's something that I've actually said to myself, people would spend time surprising themselves. Because and another thing, what I'd add to that is it's very, very easy to put people on a pedestal and put other people on a pedestal, whether they're in your industry, whether the people in your family, or because we like to attach our success or our sort of, I would like to attach our success to the external, so it's easy to put other people on a pedestal. In the corporate world, people's significance is attached to a salary, so that's what's being spread out into other people. And what I'd say there is the only people the best minds in the world and the people that have created success, if you like, in inverted commas, are the people that made a compelling decision, are the people that wake up every day, they feel into the heart and then they act. They feel and they act. They feel and they act. They tap into their intuition and they listen to the gut and they act on it. And that's why they choose for it to be easy. So the fact is, we can all make a compelling decision, and we're no different to a Tony Robbins, a Les Brown. We're no different to those people. They just made a compelling decision to hold their worth so high to what it truly is and honor their message and honor their truth. And that's why they're creating a dent in the universe, because they've made a compelling decision and they've held their worth so high that they're not ever going to go back. And I really, really respect that. But that's a message, and that's something that we can all do. We just have to decide that we're going to follow our heart, which is something that, if I'm honest with you, following your heart doesn't get taught in school. Following your heart doesn't get taught from your mum and dad. Your mum and dad do the best job that they can do with what they know. So you don't get taught to follow your heart. You get taught to do what their model of the world says is right, which there's no right or wrong. Do what feels good for you and be honest. Be honest about that. Tap into who you truly are and just go and do it. Because the fact is, if you don't, disconnect is going to take place. And obviously we all know what takes place after that.
Those are some awesome points and awesome things that people can apply like today. Like it's not something that, you gotta wait a week for. Like, do it today, folks. If you're listening, schedule that time with yourself. Think about your ideal day, about your ideal life, and just go after it.
What I'd say there, Claude, which is really powerful, is that these applications that we're talking about are so simple. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting when Brian said I've been there in terms of being that personal development geek. And the thing is, we're taught to do that. So whether you're in business or you're trying to live optimally or you're training for a competition or you're just training for whatever, we're all on this journey we get taught that we have to be more to then get a result. So, for example, what I probably used to do, if you fast forward to probably a year and a half ago, if I felt a pull to be more, what I would do is I would then pick up a book to then add more to who I truly was. When in actual fact, I believe this is a process of letting go. It's a process of letting go of the bullshit. It's a process of letting go of everything that isn't you. So what I'd invite people to do is, if you're listening, put the books down for a month. I'm not saying there's no room for that. What I'm saying is allow yourself to put the books down for a month and really, really ask yourself who you truly are. Ask yourself some questions. Message one of us and we'll give you some questions to ask yourself. And I just think that's amazing because you get to, once you start to give yourself that presence, you get to open up your true greatness and you start to really, you don't just feel it, but you start to see what you're putting down on paper. And then it starts to become real because you're defining a vision. Sounds really interesting, to be honest with you. But I've got this thing to do with this experience to do with energy and people writing down from their heart. And I feel like if you write something down from your heart, it then start to create beliefs and create result and tap into sort of who you truly are. But if you're reading a book, yes, the information that you're gaining is incredible, and it's an amazing thing to sort of go and teach other people. But how about you create a day where you're not quoting someone else, but you're just quoting yourself. You're quoting who you truly are. Create that day and visualize that day when you're going to be able to quote yourself.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Definitely, being able to just like you said, stop quoting other people and just speak what's in your heart and your mind. But when you were talking earlier, it totally reminded me of when somebody first suggested that when I'm in the car, just go ahead and not have any radio or nothing on and just sit with myself, and just how uncomfortable that was for me at that part of my journey. And just being still and being present with my thoughts and who and what I am.
I think, and that's so true, because at first it is going to feel uncomfortable. But the thing is, every thought, feeling, emotion that comes up in an individual is there for a reason, and it's part of you. So what happens is, in terms of when you're looking externally, you start to layer yourself with things that aren't you. You start to layer yourself with someone else's stories and someone else's thoughts. And I'm not saying there's no room for that, but why don't we just come from a place where we can really tap into who we truly are first, and then sort of experience someone else's stories? Because we get to create our own story on a daily basis, but I don't necessarily always think people are giving themselves that gift right now.
Yeah, it's really about, I find, being genuine, and the more genuine you are to yourself, I think the more other people will get from that too.
Yeah, I think, and that's, it's really, really interesting that you say that, because when I used to deliver sort of, what I used to do is I used to deliver programs. So I don't know whether you guys have that something similar over there, but it used to be sort of a training program, and then I'd deliver a training course to a range of different people, some in business, some in not, some unemployed. It was quite a range of things. And that concept of being real and being authentic and genuine and raw, and just being able to create that environment for other people to really, really speak their mind, and not necessarily have a debate about things, but being able to create that space to be able to speak from the heart. And it's something that, especially in the corporate world, is something that people are losing the ability to be able to do. And I feel like, especially with social media as well, there's a lot of things right now, there's a lot of concepts that are encouraging people to start playing the comparison game. And we all do it. We all know when we're playing the comparison game. But then if you do find yourself playing the comparison game, ask yourself, who is that right now? Is that me and my truth? If you find yourself comparing yourself to someone else, or thinking you should be doing something a certain way because someone else is doing that, then ask yourself, what is your truth? What is the truth? Am I in my head right now, or am I in my heart?
That mindfulness.
Yeah, just being mindful, be a witness observer of your thoughts. And the thing is, for a long time, I was very, very aware. I was very, very aware of how I felt, what I was thinking, and why I'd do certain things. I was very, very aware, but I never gave myself the gift and the power to be able to move with that and sort of use that awareness to take action. I always used to be a person that I used to sort of seek opportunity when I used to run my old business, but I wasn't necessarily giving myself the love that I deserve to receive from myself and from other people, and I wasn't honoring who I truly was. Like, I was doing an amazing job, and I was delivering to people and serving people because that's what I'm passionate about, but I wasn't honoring who I truly was. Because I believe that if you ask somebody what's your mission, or what's your vision, or what do you dream about, and they truly really speak from the heart and they don't think about it, whatever they say first, however silly that might sound, is the truth, or else you wouldn't be able to think it. It's happened somewhere else in another dimension. It's just a case of whether you allow it into your experience. People are selling themselves short. They're doing a disservice to the world if they're not aligning themselves to their long-term vision right now. Another food for thought for you guys and everyone on the podcast right now is, think about young people in education in your country right now. Think about how many fires are waiting to be ignited at a young age in high school right now, but by the time they get to 18, 20, they have no fire left because society is killing them. Society is literally taking them over and encouraging them to be a robot, when in actual fact, they've still got so much potential to go and succeed and achieve. And not just, when I say success and achievement, what I want to sort of relate that to is it's about service to yourself and others and the world. And it's about you meeting the human need and being able to contribute beyond yourself, because we've all got that. We've all got that within us. It's just whether we choose to allow ourselves to tap into that. Hence, being everything you're capable of being, seeking your own truths, removing the bullshit that isn't you, and being you.
And I'm really glad you clarified success. It's just a lot of people think about it as a paycheck or bank account, or their car, or their trophy wife or trophy husband, or whatever it may be. But it's I think, just like you just explained, it's a lot deeper than that. And people who shouldn't feel shamed for being happy without that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes, very, very, very true. It's interesting you say that, because I think I can't remember whether I had this in the conversation or I wrote it down the other day. And I actually have a training that is called aligning yourself to success and being it now. And during that training, we define what success is. We define what people think success is. And he talks about, we speak about the attachment of success to money. And what we sort of came up with between us was the definition of success. Success is a feeling. Success is a feeling that you experience on a daily basis. Success is living intentionally around your heart's truth. Success is you being able to not just set a goal, because I think if you went on the internet now, there'd be so many people sort of trying to teach other people how to set goals. And the thing is, a goal is just something that you set and not necessarily hit. But when you set some intentions and you choose for it to be easy on a daily basis, and you enjoy it, and you create a space where you get to celebrate the small and the big wins and play everything up on a daily basis, that's success. Because the fact is, I always like to say, I never write a figure down. I never write, I'm going to make £1,000 this month. I never write, I'm going to make £1 million this year. I always write down, I am living abundantly in all areas of my life, and sort of living with rich intention to be able to use money as a vehicle to serve other people and allow other people to do the same.
Yeah,
that's an awesome
absolutely. I've been doing a bit of diving into money mindset myself, and really we need to be able to understand that money is just a tool to, like you said, be able to serve. I mean, There are people that choose to set up schools in third world countries, and it takes money to do that. And there's this almost shaming of people around who want to be successful, whether or not they do want to give back. But there's this cultural shaming around people that are financially successful.
It's so true that what you say there, and it's funny because I think I had a conversation with someone about this a few months ago, and when we grow up, we get taught that money is the devil and money is bad and money is the root of all evil, and just these sort of sayings. It's actually interesting because I think it was last weekend. I was out with a group of friends and I started talking to one of the men that I'd not met before, and we were talking about money, and he actually said that money is the root of all evil. And it was just really interesting because it just sort of hit home that that's what people's beliefs and conditions and patterns and stories are. They do honestly believe that money is the root of all evil. And in terms of where people are with that, all I'd invite people to think about is you just allow yourself to think about the power of money, the power of what money is doing right now for you and other people around the world. My vision for myself and the people I support is to be able to live with rich intention, and to be able to live with rich intention to create a win-win situation. So a win situation for themselves to fulfill the purpose, and a win for the world as well and the people they support. And I feel like you create the more you allow yourself to make a step on that process, the more you allow yourself to tap into your heart's vision and make it happen on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick before we get into the wrap-up questions, definitely want to be respectful of your time today. I almost think of a win-win-win. So two separate entities both win. That's two wins, and then collectively we win together as well.
Yes.
And it's so important because if any one side loses, we all lose, really.
Yeah, very, very true. And I feel like we are in a world of collaboration right now. We're on a journey, and we all get to choose whether we want to make a step and collaborate. And that's why that's why things like this podcast is so powerful, because we've got an amazing tool in sort of social media and the internet right now. And that's why it's such an honor to be on here with you guys today, because I feel a massive strong pull at the minute to really, really reach as many people as I can, that's possible, to be able to allow people to hear my message and see if that resonates with them. Because it's something that most people know, but what I would say is if you were to define your vision and define your success, is that vision able to take place without the help of other people? It just isn't. It's impossible. And that's why it's so important to be able to reach out and just ask yourself the right questions. Give yourself the gift to ask for help. Like, it's okay to be able to ask for help and get around people that are doing it. Get around people that inspire who you are and inspire your mission, and really, really get around people that sort of you can collaborate with and that are congruent with your journey. And I think that's so powerful, because then you get some amazing accountability. You get to get some amazing, I don't want to say inspiration, because you are your own inspiration. But what I would say is you get to learn some lessons, and every relationship that you have is either a message or a mirror. So you can either mirror sort of who you are. It's a reflection of you and where you are in your life right now, or it's a message. And I can't remember who said this quote, but if you're the best in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Absolutely.
It's very, very true.
So jumping into our wrap-up questions, I do have one quick more question. If
one quick more?
Yes.
Go
I speak good English.
English, good speak.
Yes. So if you could have our listening audience ask themselves just one question, what would that question be?
I would give them one of my favorite questions that serves me on a daily basis.
Beautiful.
What I would say is we all experience, I don't want to say good or bad emotion, because I don't believe that any emotion is good or bad. I believe that let's just call it light and heavy. So we're all going to experience heaviness or disempowerment at some point, and it's how long we stay there which is going to affect what takes place in what takes place next in our business, in our lives, in every area of our life. So one question that I ask myself, if I'm ever experiencing heaviness or at the end of the day when I feel like I want to decompress and just wind down, I always ask myself, what do I get to let go of right now to be everything that I am capable of being? What do you get to let go of today, whether that be a behavior, a feeling? What do you get to let go of right now? A belief? Yeah, what do you get to let go of to be everything that you're capable of being? And then once you answer that question, you give yourself the gift of letting go on a daily basis. And that's what it is. It's a case of you letting go and shedding the bullshit layers that you've kind of learned on this journey up to now. This is just a case of you remembering everything and remembering everything that you always were.
Beautiful. Love it.
Well, you know what? That reminds me of the saying, happiness isn't what you can add to your life, it's what you can take away.
Yes, very, very, very true.
Yes.
And I would just say that when people say happiness, we do get taught and conditioned that happiness is always an addition. It's always something that we can add to our life. And I always like to say to people, if you had £1 million in the bank now, how would you feel? And the majority of the time people will go, yeah, I'd feel really good. But what about if you can give yourself the gift to wake up every single day and choose to feel amazing with or without a figure in the bank? And you just honor who you are. Think about why the money... think about why the best minds and could wake up one day with zero and have £1 million in the bank the next. It's because they don't allow their significance and validation to be attached to that figure. They wake up every day and honor their own greatness, and they go, right, this day is mine. They're so grateful for where they are, and they don't allow anything in the external to determine how they feel or who they truly are.
But you know what? And I just asked myself, having £1 million or dollars or whatever in the bank account right now, how would I feel? And you know what? I don't think I would feel very different, because I can't attach what I want to money, really.
That's amazing. And I think all I would say is, in terms of the way people are taught as they grow up, they do have this attachment of... What would I invite people to think about is, when are you going to allow yourself to be successful or feel successful? Because it's a process of being it now. You are successful. You are already your vision. You are the vision that you've created for yourself. My vision is to change the world and serve so many people in a range of different ways. And I am my vision already. That vision is already happening or happened or happening. So it's a case of being it now. And what's such a frustration of mine is why are people attaching their success to a figure in the bank? Because the fact is, this is a process of you doing what feels good and allowing yourself to feel good on a daily basis, not waiting for something else to show up in the external to be who you truly are.
Damn right, man.
Absolutely. All right. Well, again, I know we're on a little bit of a time crunch this morning, so I definitely appreciate your time today. I got a few wrap-up questions here for you, Josh. So the first one would be, if you had to rescue 3 books from a fire, what books would they be? Unless, of course, you were on your learning purge, but
unless because I'm a learning fast. Very interesting. I would just say I'm trying to think of some books that have really, really resonated with me. What I would say to people is if you do find yourself reading a lot of books and it's a routine thing for you, just give yourself some time. Instead of reading a book, to ask yourself some questions and be present with who you are. Journal, meditation, go for a walk, whatever feels good for you, just date yourself and do that. A good book in terms of that is aligned with what I'm saying is a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can get that on your phone. That's a really, really good one. I'm trying to think of another amazing book in terms of, to be honest with you, when it comes to books, because I've not read a book for so long, it's not necessarily something that really, really resonates with me.
Okay.
In terms of what breaking the habit of being yourself, it's a case of you losing your mind and letting go of everything that isn't you, which is very...
I've definitely lost my mind.
Well, that's good. It's amazing. Like it's a process of. I actually wrote some content out the other day, and it was talking about how your mind isn't you, and some people do think that whatever they think is themselves. Like I invite people to just try and allow yourself to separate you from your mind, and then whatever your mind thinks or whatever emotion shows up, like you decide what the truth is. You get to honor yourself and decide what is your truth, and then reaffirm it and define it and celebrate it on a daily basis.
It's up to you, folks. Now, just speaking about books, how about videos or other resources that you would recommend to someone?
I'll tell you one amazing resource, which probably fast forward to around 5 years ago now, and it was something that really, really is one of my. We all love Tony Robbins. He's an incredible guy, and he's done a TED Talk called "Why We Do What We Do," and it's 18 minutes long, and it was possibly one of. At that time of watching that in my life, I was in a time of indecision. I was in a time of lack of clarity. I always felt this pull that there was more than what I had, and there was more than what I had at that moment in time, and there was more than what I was doing. And I just remember just watching it and really, really resonating with it, but not just resonating with it, but really, really it allowed me to keep things really simple for myself, and it gave me that opportunity to make a step for who I truly am. So that's something that I'd really, really recommend to anyone, really. I feel like, I don't know whether you guys can resonate with this, but in the UK, sort of self-awareness and personal development isn't necessarily something that a lot of people are tapping into right now. And I feel like no matter who you are, whether you're in business, you're an entrepreneur, or you're just a mum, or you're an elderly person, I feel like we can all be everything that we're capable of being. We can all tap into who we truly are. Like we only get one life, and we're all going to die anyway in this game. So we might as well really, really allow ourselves to feel fulfilled on a daily basis. And I think that's so important, just giving people the gift of self-awareness of who they truly are. How many people do you know that get asked the question, who are you, on a daily basis? It just isn't something that people, especially kids aren't asked that in school. And I'm passionate about it. I want to give people that gift. I want to help people give themselves that gift.
It's an awesome mission.
Absolutely.
I think it's needed.
Absolutely. Now, Josh, who would you want to hear on our podcast? And what would you want to hear them talk about?
Just generally across. Can it be anyone? Or?
Yeah, anyone, man.
Prefer alive, but not necessarily.
We can get a Ouija board in here.
Oh, that's so interesting. In terms of people being an optimum human, I'd love to listen to Richard Branson. I'd love to listen to some stories of obviously how he first started. But what I would say is, and it's really interesting, I've done a little bit of traveling recently, obviously in Europe, and I went on a canal cruise probably a couple of weeks ago now, and I got told a story about sort of Amsterdam in the 1200s, in the 12th century, and how this port was found, and just how it was built. And what I wrote down and what the lesson I took from it was that everything started with a thought. So the people that was building that city up from the ground, they all honoured their thought and honoured what they truly wanted. And it was just amazing to kind of take myself and immerse myself in that journey from the 12th century to now. So you imagine what life can be like if you decide it to be from now in the next 10 years or the next 100 years. You can create a legacy for yourself and your family to be everything that you're capable of being. And I feel like what we get to do is we get to not just honour the greatest minds on the planet and really appreciate them, but I think we get to appreciate ourselves, and we get to give and provide opportunity. And that's one thing that I talk about. Is one thing that's a massive trait in me is seeing something in something in someone which they don't see in themselves, and just giving people that opportunity. I think it's just so powerful, because I feel like the more opportunity that you provide and the more you collaborate with people, the more you live with rich intention, the more people you'll be able to facilitate and see flourish into amazing things. So the answer to your question, who do I want on the podcast? Anybody, because any single person can be themselves in every area of life, and they all have a message and a story to share with the world. And this is why stuff like podcasts and your amazing podcast is so powerful, because it can reach so many people in such a short space of time, and it can do it very, very quickly, and it's very, very easy for people to tap into. And I think that's really, really, really powerful. So I want to sort of commend you and thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, man.
So, all right. So last one is, where can our listeners find out more about you and what you're doing, and who more about being you?
The guys can connect with me on Facebook. I have a business page on there, so it's just BUBEYOU. All my business at the minute is growing organically, so I don't have a website. And I'm just open to supporting more entrepreneurs on their journey. I feel that entrepreneurs especially, we get addicted to the struggle and we choose for it to be hard, and all our sort of stories that we know so far. So the fight is meant to be a good thing. And the fact is, it can be as easy as we all choose to make it. There's a lot of people that have got so much potential to tap into, and the world are waiting for you. They're waiting to see you. They're waiting for you to reveal the real you and help other people do the same. And I'm ready to connect with those people.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Well, Josh, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on today, man. This was awesome.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Josh, thanks for coming on. And everyone, you can find the show notes as per usual on our website. And yeah, Josh, thank you, man. This has been a blast. Hopefully our audience has been listening with some attention, because this is some life-changing stuff. I'm going to start applying some of this stuff today myself. So thanks again, man.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the Optimum Human Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to head on over to iTunes and give a 5-star rating and review, which will help spread the word to more awesome listeners just like you. Head on over to theoptimumhuman.com and subscribe to the free newsletter and get the Optimum Human's Blueprint to the Optimum Life. Download it instantly. Thanks for listening.